Good morning, Stacy Alcorn from P3 Coaching here. So I just met with a real estate agent who came in to me and she said, I went on a market analysis last night and the home was worth $200,000. And the seller told me that she wants to put the property on at $230 just to see if she gets any bites and she'll consider doing a price reduction down the road. So I said to the agent, did you discuss with your seller the cost of an improper pricing decision in today's market? And the agent said, I don't really know exactly how to discuss that. So we wrote it down on paper, and I said, this is a great lesson for today's P3 coaching members. So let's go through the cost of a poor pricing decision and how you talk about it with a seller. So I told her that the dialogue should look something like this, and I said, pull out your pen and paper, write it down so that they can see the numbers for themselves. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I could choose to work with you and take this listing for $230,000. And although it may appear that I'm helping you get more money by doing that, in actuality, I'd be taking away out of your pocket somewhere around $30,000. So it might look like I'm trying to get you $30,000 more if I were to price it at $230, but really by doing so, I'd be costing you about $30,000. And let me show you what I mean by that. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you want to price at $230,000. You told me your carrying cost for this home is about $1,200 for your mortgage, plus about $200 a month in insurance, utilities, etc. So your carrying cost on this home is about $1,400. So if we price at $230,000, we're not going to get an offer right off the bat. So you're going to go probably at least 2 months paying your carrying costs of $1,400 a month, and probably will come to me in 2 months asking for a price reduction, and you'll say, can we go down to $220,000? So, being the realtor that I am, we will help you with that price reduction. I still feel that even with a $10,000 price reduction, you're going to have carrying costs for probably another month or so, and then you're going to say, let's reduce again. Let's go down to $210,000 on a price, getting a little bit closer to the original price that I had recommended. Now we're at $210,000. I still firmly believe, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're going to be looking at continued carrying costs at that price of $1,200 plus $200. Now you might say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'd have carrying costs anyways, even if I were in another property. But wouldn't you rather be paying down your mortgage on the property that you want to be in long term than a house that you're going to end up selling? Remember, most of your mortgage payment right now is interest. So that's truly money out the window when you're paying that out. So you go through, at $210,000, we have 2 more months of carrying costs. We're up to $7,000 in carrying costs on this property. And then you come to me and you say, I'm ready to listen. I want to price it $200,000. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, after 5 months that have gone by, the home is no longer going to be worth $200,000. The property will depreciate in value just by the fact it's been on the market for so long. That it won't have that fresh perspective as being a brand new listing on the market. So you come to me, you say, we'll reduce to $200,000. Unfortunately, by that time, I think you're going to see carrying costs again of another couple of months. That's total carrying costs now over 7 months of $9,800. And you're going to come to me and say, let's just get rid of it. $190,000 it is. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, once this house has been on the market for 7 months, I have to tell you, you're not going to get a buyer that's going to come in anxious to pay you 95% for this property. In fact, your typical offer is going to be around 80 to 90% of the asking price for a home that's been on the market for that long. So at that time, you're at $190,000. You've had carrying costs for up to 7 months. Let's say you do get an offer at that time of 90% of the asking price. What that looks like for you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is a price of $171,000. So you take out your carrying costs for all of those months, $9,800, my marketing fee, and you're going to net about $150,940. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, even though it might appear that I'm trying to get you the best price by taking that home at $230,000, I know that the cost of a poor pricing decision in this market for you would be somewhere around $27,660. That's the cost of a bad pricing decision. Whereas if we price it properly from the beginning, $200,000, it is not unlikely for you to get an anxious, ready, willing, and able buyer that's going to offer you somewhere around 95% of asking price. Take out my marketing fee, you will net somewhere around $178,600. It's a far better decision than letting it sit on the market for 6 to 7 months with continued price reductions, because in the end, by doing that, you will end up with a buyer who is looking for a steal in this marketplace, and that's not the type of buyer we're anxious to work with. I hope you found this helpful as today's P3 coaching tip of the day. Thank you.